With the two pivot tables generated, we can now begin to calculate the sums of squares. Before actually doing the calculations, we're going to set up the format for the sums of squares right here. We're going to have sums of squares due to hospitals. We're going to have sums of squares due to sex. We're going to have sums of squares due to hospitals times sex, which will be what is known as an interaction term, and sums of squares within cells, which will act as the error term in our analysis. Finally, as a check on our calculations, we'll have sums of squares total. As we have typically done, the first calculation we're going to do is sums of squares total, which will appear in this column. The sums of squares total is the squared difference between each observation and the grand mean of all observations, which appears right here. So, in order to get the sums of squares total, we will begin with equal, left paren, 4 minus 6, and the 6 will be fixed with an F4 to assure that we always operate in cell J8, right paren, and then a square. And this is the first number that goes toward making up the sums of squares total. When I double left click the lower right hand corner, I get the sums of squares for all observations. Now, going back to where we are putting these sums of squares, this will be equal to the sum of this column. Control Shift down arrow, and when I hit enter, we will see the total sums of squares here.